Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another Starcraft 2 gameplay. In this video I'm playing Terran, and we're playing against a really strong Protoss player in the 5500 range. So that's about rank 70 or so on North America. So no slouch in the matchup. I have played this guy once before, but I didn't know I played this guy. So this is a game where I wasn't sure what his style was or anything like that. And I'm just going to be opening up standard here, going racks and then gas. And to give you guys a little context, my hands are freezing cold in this game, and it's played at like 10 p.m. So there's a lot of mistakes in this game, but that'll be good. I can point out a lot of things I want to improve actually from this game. So I'm going to scout him. I played a GM before on this map, and he put a gateway behind my natural. There's actually some dead space up there. And so this game, I'm going to scout up there. It's actually the same guy, but I didn't know it was the same guy. I just figured I would start doing this scout. And it might be his only build, because I see his gate up here. And so instead of taking my expansion on the low ground, I'm going to take it on the high ground. I'm not sure if this is actually the right thing to do. It might be stronger to put down a bunker and just try to deny the gateway right away. But this was the idea I had at the time. And the reason I think it's going to be a little bit stronger, maybe, is because he was able to get up an expansion behind this. So he's not really that committed. It's just, you know, a gateway and a pylon, and maybe delaying his tech quite a bit. So I'm making some marines. He's not really going to be able to do too much, even if I don't make a bunker here. He wasn't making a zealot, so I just assumed he wasn't going to make a zealot. And if he's only going to make stalkers, we can actually just sit on the high ground here. And he can never really see the marines, and if he tries to run up the ramp, he's going to take way too much damage too quickly. Normally marine versus stalker, you need to maintain the stalker range so you can kite the marines. So he can't really do that on the ramp here, which is why I just lowered the depot. It's not really too concerning. Then we're going to go into our tech lab on the factory, grab our starport. Normally in this matchup, I was playing the safe Terran versus Protoss opening, but I wanted to try out some Banshees. I think Banshees are actually one of the strongest openings TVP. Of course, they do leave you a little more susceptible to some attacks of the Protoss, but I think they're really, really powerful because it's quite difficult for Protoss to have all the defenses at 3 bases. So that's the plan. And we're getting quite a bit of marines here. I'm just waiting for the tank because I don't want to lose too many marines. Now there, he actually spotted me because I was too far down the ramp, and I thought he had like an observer or something. I was kind of confused, but they were just a little bit too far down, so he was able to see them. Now that we have the tank though, we're able to push him back. And I think here is actually my first little mistake, is just not moving out here. The problem though, I actually wanted to move out in the game. The problem is that I don't have very good vision, and so I don't know if he's taking a 3rd base or if he's you know, going 2 base all in, mass charge lots or something. So I really need more info in this situation. And the problem was I sent my SCV back straight to the base when I should have sent it maybe over here. And then at this time, come back in, see if he's expanding or see if he's all-inning, and then decide to make this push. So that's what I should have done here. But since I didn't have an SCV out, I'm kind of forced to play it safe in this position and just not move out. And here's actually another good point, or another good thing I learned this game, is I have a little bit of a blind spot for getting supply blocked when they do like a proxy, because Normally what I do is make these depots in the wall at the early 40 supplies, but since I had to come down the ramp, you know, after those depots should have been made, I just didn't make them. So what I should have done was made like one more depot, maybe actually in the corner here on the early 40s, and then started building the wall with the next depot. So we do have a little supply block here, but it's not something that normally happens. Going into the Banshee tech, it's definitely quite late because of that supply block, so that's kind of annoying as well. And my plan now is to do a 1-1-1 push into a 3rd CC. So this isn't a build I do very often, but something I want to experiment a little more with. And basically the idea is if Protoss is playing a normal build where they're macroing up and getting their Robo Bay and forges and all that, then you're going to hit a timing where it's not really possible for them to defend. So they actually need to know you're doing this build and play a little more safe and slow down their tech.
Research complete.
Alright, so we're moving out here. Again, I don't really know what he's doing, but he didn't push me on 2 bases yet, so he's definitely taken his 3rd. But I don't know how committed he is to teching. So what I want to do here is actually drop a scan on his natural, maybe about now, and just see what's there. The problem is that I don't have any energy, so maybe I should have just sent 1 Marine up instead. But I kind of just gambled here, hoping he wasn't doing exactly what he's doing, which is fast charge lots. So at this position I was like, oh fuck, we just lost. Because if he jumps on my army right here, we're completely screwed. Like, charge lots against this army is going to be completely one-sided. But fortunately, I'm not sure why, he makes the decision to play defensive here. Maybe because my MMR was quite a bit lower. So he actually doesn't jump on us, which he totally should have done here. And allows me to back off. And he's actually pretty committed to this. Like, he went charge first, which is something you normally don't want to be doing, because it delays your blink, and he's not even getting upgrades or anything like that. So he's very, very committed to this attack. Banshee's getting a little bit of damage there, probably partly because he doesn't have blink. And at this point, I know he has a 3rd for sure, but I also know that he's very, very all in with this. So you can see me setting up pretty defensively. I should have these Marines a little more forward, actually. So that's a little bit sloppy. Starts to break in here a little earlier than he should have. And one thing that I changed recently in these battles, you can see that my Marines are pretty forward here against the Zealots. If you don't touch these tanks, they're actually going to shoot the Zealots, which is going to kill your Marines really, really fast. So if you can, you should definitely select these and target the Stalkers and the Sentries. And it actually makes a huge difference. Not because they're killing the Stalkers, but because they're not killing your own units. So you should be very careful here. Cutting backwards a little bit. So this goes really, really good for us. There is another huge problem here. Just with my macro. It's not actually my macro per se. It's that I don't do this build, and I didn't realize you can't actually spend your money on these 3 racks unless you go 2 more racks pretty quickly. So I should have done that. I should have actually made those maybe almost right after the initial 2 racks. Just have 5 racks here. Because those initial 2 racks are much later since I went 3rd CC first. So that's what's happening there.
Research complete.
Okay, so we defended, and this is another point where I could have taken more advantage out of him, or more advantage of the situation, is I should have pushed right now, because if he continues making units here, I'm gonna have stim, and we should win those battles pretty easily, and that's actually just gonna prevent him from teching too quickly. So he made a pretty good choice here to just go crazy, greedy on the tech, and hope I don't attack him. Which makes a lot of sense. And I should have been able to either punish him or force him to not do this. So definitely a missed opportunity here. It's not putting us behind or anything, but it's definitely letting him catch up just a little bit. So the next plan is to push around 1-1. I'm kind of a little bit worried he's still letting, but I think since we have stim, it shouldn't really be a worry. So we get our 3rd CC down, 1-1's on the way, combat shield's almost done. Basically all our upgrades are finishing up, so it's a pretty good time to push here. And I know that I'm quite ahead, obviously, after holding that attack. So this should be able to do quite a bit of damage. Just doing a quick scan to make sure he's not massing like 50 charge lots since his last attack. He did have the gases, so I know that's not the case. And I'm just trying to maybe deny his 4th base, or put on some pressure and force some zealots, which is happening. It's just that he's already got his colossus out, so it would have been better if we did it earlier. A little bit of panic there. I'm still not judging these fights very well, for sure. Because in this fight, as you'll see, I can definitely win this fight pretty handily. But I'm moving back a bit too much. Like right here, you can see that I've already pulled back quite a lot. And my Marines were way too far back. Which was kind of the idea. Like I wanted the Marauders to be in front so the Colossus couldn't do a lot of damage. But I don't think they need to be far back. I think the Marauders just need to be in front. So I should have been sitting about here to take this battle. Let the Zealots hit my Marauders a little bit and then pull back so that the mines can get some better shots in. And also so that I can protect my tanks a bit better. Because as you'll see in this fight, it goes okay, honestly. It's not even a bad fight, but it could have went so much better. I think I actually could have just won the game right there. But we don't win, so I'm backing up here. I'm going to rotate to the other 4th base and just see if he's taken that and we can cancel it. Not sure what those Marauders are doing. So I start 2-2. I should have also got my Ghost Academy here. Would have been a good timing. I think lining that up with 2-2 is pretty strong. So I definitely should have done that. But that's going to be a bit delayed, as you'll see. 4th base going down, just general macro stuff. He doesn't have a 4th base, so we're still quite ahead in this game. And I'm just trying to cover all the possible ways I can lose right now. So you can see me getting a bunker at the 3rd base before I take my 4th. And I'm also going to put my Widow Mines that I don't really need anymore, where a War Prism would come in.
Mineral field depleted.
Might also be good to get like one turret there just to help out. But I think the Widow Mines are more efficient. You don't really want to spend too much on the defense because as soon as you spend a lot on the defense, you fall behind in other areas. So it's pretty important that you're minimizing your defenses. But now we're pretty solid. He's not really going to be able to drop us with a War Prism. He can't really harass us on this 3rd as easily since we have the bunker. And so I'm going to grab my 4th, and then we're going to do another push here with 2-2 is the plan. I think in here there's some room for Liberators too. I'm not sure exactly when to add these, but I think you need some Liberators actually, because eventually Protoss is going to get too many Disruptors, and if you don't have a good Liberator number, then you can't really push into the Disruptor at all. Like once they get maybe 6 or more Disruptors, it's almost impossible to push them. So I think maybe I should be adding those about now as I max out, maybe 2 or 4 Liberators.
Upgrade complete.
Or possibly I just need to push the 4th faster, maybe with some quicker ghosts. Could do the trick as well. That way he doesn't have enough time to get 6. So we're maxed out. 2-2 just finished. You can see me hotkeying the ghost.
Search complete.
So we have 6 ghost here. Good amount of Viking. I had a Marine just outside the sensor tower, so I didn't figure he would be right there. Right in my blind spot, but thankfully we were both surprised and he pulled back.
Mineral field depleted.
And I'm trying to gauge the fight here, trying to get a good concave. He's pretty far out. I just want to land some sim EMPs. I noticed he has no stalker here, which is kind of greedy to be honest. So I engage with the Vikings. And this actually forces him to come into me. Otherwise he's going to lose all the colossus. And I thought that this disruptor shot. So right here I'm thinking, oh yeah, this one, or sorry, I thought this one already shot. So I'm thinking this disruptor shot, I can just A-move in here, and this one's pretty far. But actually it was the reverse. So for whatever reason I saw it in the reverse, and this disruptor shot caught me completely off guard and hit a disgusting shot. But now I know there's no more disruptors, so I push in here pretty hard. I probably could have kept going even here. Landing some EMPs would have been nice on those Archons. We probably could have just won that fight. But playing it pretty safe. He has 3 disruptor now, so I gotta be a little more careful. I'm trying to count these. So now we know he has 2 shots. Gets another nice shot there. I tried to EMP. Oh, I should have said this earlier, but my hotkeys in this account are actually all wrong. So every time I went to do an EMP, I had to make sure I was pressing a key that I wasn't used to. So that's why I did a snipe there. And there was also some other things in this game, like my upgrades. Whenever I went to do upgrades, they were like totally wrong keys. So thanks, Blizzard. But that's what caused us to do the that last disruptor shot, was because I was trying to redo the EMPs instead of micro against the disruptors after the EMPs. But we are able to push him here. Honestly, a lot of bad situations this game, but the thing that allowed us to overcome him here is that we just had a little bit of a better position from the opening, and our macro was pretty solid the whole time. It's 2 disruptor here, but once they get this, you know, disruptor only, it's not too bad to micro against them. And that's the game. So, pretty fun game. I was definitely not in the driver's seat for most of this game. It was kind of chaotic and lots of mistakes were happening, but a very informative and interesting game nonetheless. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.